in terms of a pick comp.
Okay, what's the answer going to be? You don't necessarily have to pick a scaling AD carry as T1 because you have so much pick potential. You could go for like the Jinx, would work incredibly well in this draft. You get excited, you do so much damage, the initial pick is so easy. We don't play that in our league, or really anywhere, but I feel like it's a good pick here. But they get the Lulu, and hey, I mean, maybe there's something there. Jinx Lulu.
Lulu Nocturne as well.
Yeah, great
Lulu Mbessa.
power there in the draft, and they had to ban the Ashe because they were worried about the Ashe Seraphine setup. Caitlyn is a no-brainer, but the Lulu still goes over. Lens, looks like he's cooking as he's searching here, and he was. All right, now is it Kalista Renata? That's a rhetorical question, of course.
We do play this in our league.
He could have gone
time to
Blitzcrank.
time.
Occasionally, the Blitzcrank comes out, but actually Blitzcrank would have been pretty good here, but a little bit less safe. Kog'Maw over Jinx? Come on, don't do it to me.
Twitch?
Don't you dare play Twitch.
Twitch? Tristan?
He's going to play Kog'Maw, it feels like. Tristan is pretty insane in this comp, though, because of the reset potential. He's going to play Kog'Maw, though.
Yeah.
All right.
You were right in the beginning and right at the end. Cog Lulu makes its return to the LCK.
A lot of things can go wrong with this T1 comp. I think if you...
In front of your eyes, as it's T1 versus NONGSHIM, game number 2.
미니언들이 생성되었습니다.
All right, game number 2. As we got Huni celebrating. I'm just looking forward to the Huni rating at the end of the game.
Yes, it's been so long. We also
hope they have that graphic saved.
I'm sure they do. The T1 stars came up there for a second. I was like, "Whoa, the game hasn't even started yet." He took teleport and not ignite, and with the changes to top lane where you get teleport automatically, I'm sure that's probably already a demerit in Huni's book. But
yeah, at most 3 out of 5 stars after that transgression. Paze did pick the correct skin. Pugmaw is number 1 in my mind. I think Paze has a cat. I'm not 100% sure.
He does. Yeah, he posts on social media a lot.
Wasn't... He has a
Apparently
lot of cats.
has a lot of cats, is what we were just told.
But, you know, he doesn't discriminate. He goes to the Pugmaw. There's no cat Kog'Maw skin. So,
when is
next best thing?
Maw coming out? That's the real question.
I don't think it is. I don't think Kog'Maw really reminds me of any kind of cat that I know.
What if Paze wins the World Championship and is...
He requests it?
Requesting it, yeah, after playing a bunch of Kog'Maw games on his way.
I think that's probably the only way, to be honest.
Oh, he has apparently 2 Peppies. What? I only saw 1 cat, so I was confused about the multiple cat thing, but apparently that wasn't true.
Yeah. Just some fake news from G-Sun. The last person to play this was D plus Kia's aiming against Bull in a loss. And we never saw it again for 819 days. The handshake is big, but Taeun's taking a lot of damage in the trade.
Yeah, Lehens doesn't have level 3, so I don't think they can push this any further until that is reached. Very close. There it is.
That's a lot of damage already going into Paze and Keria. But W's up here for the Kog'Maw, so they just back away. Also, guess who's bot? It's Oner after a full clear.
You need to be careful about this 3v3, though, with Bailout and a Pantheon. I don't think Oner's going to like this.
Yeah, he's going to save the spell shield for the stun, but the flash forward from Lehens puts him in the ground. First blood for Taeun already.
And one of the weaknesses of Nocturne, for sure, it just does not have that same power the Pantheon has. The spell shield was great, but it is not enough. Lehens is really the hero of the day with that handshake in, and they do end up getting the kill. Watch this again. The Sentinel spots it early, but they already expected it. Sponge was coming down, and that spell shield was fantastic, but he has to flash and still is caught by Lehens' follow flash into the handshake.
You were talking about the 3v3, you have to be careful. I don't think they ever win that, even if Paze sticks around, and Paze was backing. So I don't think there was any reason for Oner to ever move into the river that aggressively, and just kind of a mistake that NONGSHIM immediately are able to capitalize on. Pretty unfortunate for Oner.
Speaking of unfortunate, Faker taking an electrocute and a lot of extra damage from the weirding there will back. Teleport used relatively recently, so that is going to hurt. Actually see a Twisted Fate with that rare early laning deficit because of it, and he's actually finding himself a wave behind despite his passive.
So Pays has 2 dogs, they're Pomeranians, and 1 cat. So I can understand G-Sun's confusion because Pomeranians are basically just loud cats.
That's, yeah.
You know, they like to bark a bunch, but they're basically the same size.
They're very puffy.
Yeah.
Sponge is going to make a visit over here again, showcasing his power into the Nocturne in this early game. And the prio is Scouts.
Guess who's here too? Lahen's very deep in this jungle, going to try to engage Cone. But that's just going to be more pressure from the NONGSHIM support, which allows them to get in there, take out the ward, and declare the jungle theirs.
Pushed out of the lane again, and Keria was backing, so they were able to use that timing, Lahen's was, to get over there and make that extra pressure happen. And now they're going to start up this early dragon. And it feels like even though the Lulu came out here, the Kalista Renata pick worked very well as Equalizer is dropped.
Equalizer overheat here from Kingen. Dorn just essentially trading to try to get the grasp stack. Avoids the majority of the damage.
But it does really feel like the shoe's on the other foot in this early game here. Very similar to how T1 played the early game in the previous set, where they were able to get a lot of early pressure with their lane, and now NONGSHIM are doing the same. That's a lot of damage.
Yeah. Sticking around very aggressively. I mean, a fear on Lahen's, and it's because Faker's coming over. Lahen's no flash and nowhere for him to run as the bailout eventually does proc, and Sponge eventually does come over from his wolves. I feel like a little bit slow to make his way over. Maybe didn't expect T1 to full commit.
And one of the things about Twisted Fate into the Aurora is you can just Destiny past her. She doesn't have any way of stopping you from doing that, and Scout was not in a position to really punish. As Kingen does not have ult, very low.
Now Public Execution was used, and now Faker, gold card going to come down, but he is going to have to flash a lot of that damage. Scout going pretty deep to try to get this kill. And eventually, I mean, Oner's going to come over. We've got Keria coming over, and Scout says, well, I'm committed, so I might as well try. And he does actually get the kill. Kind of surprising.
Keria is here. He should still die, right? He avoids it with the cloak.
Okay, looks like maybe the Whimsy was used, and Keria's going to have to be forced to take that kill.
Yeah, a little bit of extra picks damage coming through. Still ends up being pretty good for NONGSHIM, but it was very close to being Scout just getting punished there. So we're going to go all the way back to this extended play here. I don't want to get too into the weeds of it, but Faker is able to Destiny, and Scout is unable to deny him. Bailout comes through. And I just hope we don't miss anything alive in this extension, where Taeyun also drops his barrier. And then Faker, a little bit greedy here, but has the gold card prepped just for a potential follow-up here. Scout gets electrocuted early. And then Scout has to chase deep, and Faker gets a second gold card. Very quickly, flashes the Q here. That's a lot of the damage denied, but he still gets one more here. And that's what does Faker in. Extra weirding, and then barely gets the activation of the second Q there to get the kill as he flashes away. Very impressive here from Scout. Keria misses that Q there, but is able to chase and run him down with the heal.
Yeah, so Keria on the Lulu. 2 kills already. And kind of a similar spot for Lahen's in the last game, but this one definitely more T1 favored compared to where NONGSHIM were at this point in the game. Also, there's a big difference between having something like a Kog'Maw with a Lulu to back it up versus you know, an Ezreal and an Eco who's not exactly backing you up. So, gonna feel pretty good. We'll see what he goes for with this first item. We do see that Ardent Sensor coming out more often nowadays. He's hitting level 6. He's gonna be able to farm a little bit more easily here.
Definitely true. Also, Oner is here with ult. They need to respect this. They do see him, and they will respect it. Sponge can also show up from a very far distance away, so I don't think there's anything further that T1 could do here. As Scout's going to try to put some more pressure on. We'll get the crystalline overgrowth, but nothing else.
Kingen going in past a minion wave. He's got Pantheon to back him up. Doran misses that public execution as Sponge able to sidestep it, and now 1v2. Doesn't look like Doran has any hope. He tries to go in for the kill, and now we got to dive in the bottom lane. Faker here, and no hope for the NONGSHIM bottom lane as Taeun trying to get the bailout. Actually, a TP coming in here from Scout, but it is too little too late.
Yeah, and that's going to really be kicking himself because, as you say, he's too late, and now he's kind of stuck here and can't get the mid push instead. We'll be able to clear this wave, and the grubs are being taken by Sponge on the top side of the map with that successful gank, so it's being pretty nice, but I think Scout would have been pretty happy to not commit that TP. Kingen doesn't actually have to use Equalizer here, and I think Doran realizes a little bit too late how Kingen is playing this means a Pantheon is there, and his jungler is on the bottom side of the map. Despite the lifeline proccing here, Doran is not able to trade things back. And then we see Oner look for this gank, and it's actually a great polymorph from Keria. Keep your eye on it. As he goes in, polymorph comes through, the Faker follows up, and there's just no real outplay or no play at all for Taeun to make in this situation. Scout tries to bail him out, but is unsuccessful.
Yeah. And that's how you want to use your TF and your Nocturne, especially the second they see Sponge in the top lane. So kind of going both ways, where NONGSHIM get the better of Doran, but T1 get a very nice dive in bottom side. Now the dragon wasn't up, so T1 wasn't able to pick it up, and it's being a Mountain Drake.
Lehen's just traded his ultimate for Paze's flash in the lane as well. So that's 2 tools gone for a potential dragon skirmish. And kind of arguably feels, at least temporarily, favoring T1 because the Paze flash isn't necessarily going to matter on a dragon fight if he positions well, whereas Lehen's can actually do a lot with his ultimate. But it looks like we're not going to see said fight with the lead and the prio they had down there using the ultimate and the tempo that Scout has picked up in mid. It's going to be double dragon here for NONGSHIM. And they're 800 gold behind in this game, but it's Ocean Soul, so not quite the same as the Mountain Soul we saw in game 1.
They're going to go in for this as the combo gets flashed here by Taeun, but he's all by his lonesome, and that's a kill already. And now Sponge and Lehen's very much isolated. Sponge going to flash away, trying to dodge everything, but gets hit by the Glitter Lance. And that might be enough to keep him around, but he actually does back away. Now we got Scout coming on over as Oner continuing to go deep for this one, but now TP coming in from Faker. Lots of damage going into Oner as he tries to tank it up, but now the TF is here. It's a 3-on-3 with the Kog'Maw going front to back. And NONGSHIM kind of stuck around for a very long time. Now that's another Glitter Lance into wild cards, and that is going to be the end of him. As yeah, Doran not in a very good spot, but now Lehen's might just get run down here. Has to flash away. Faker definitely considered flashing after that, but the slow came through, and Lehen's gets away.
Ingen does not commit his Equalizer to try to kill Doran, knows that he has flash and wants to hold on to it. Can actually now, with the TP down for Doran, maybe look for an aggressive trade to follow up. This fight, this situation here, the real problem is the trigger is pulled early for T1, and the jungle support cannot join. The damage is gone. And Scout wants to join, but he's so late. If he was able to come down just a little bit faster, I mean, just like 2 seconds faster, especially with Sponge escaping here, I think there's a real world where they could actually win this 3v3, but because he's so late, he gives Faker the time to fully TP in, and Scout gets the kill right onto the Nocturne, but there's a Kog'Maw on the other side, and Pace is just going to run them down. Faker's cards are just a little bit too chunky to sidestep there.
And now they're making another play. TF Nocturne really getting huge value for T1 as Scout says, oh, I'm safe. I've got Flash and I'm Aurora. Not against this duo, you're not.
And not without your ultimate especially, as it was still on cooldown. And it just feels like 1 step forward, 2 steps back for NONGSHIM in so many of these fights. Feels like there's a decent angle, and then T1 are just a little bit faster on the play. Or pull the trigger first themselves on NONGSHIM trying to set a trap. It's looking like this game may be quickly heading in the same direction as game 1.
Going in on the Kingen, he's overheating, and we got Faker on his way up. Doran not going to overstay his welcome. We do have Flash available here for Kingen. He's going to use it early just to make sure he gets out.
And that was the right call. He had his Equalizer still too, but not going to be able to kill Doran. Might have been able to get his Flash. Okay, they're going to try for it. Yeah, he still has Flash, like I was saying.
Yeah. Yeah, they get the Flash. But, you know, when Pantheon ults up and doesn't get a kill. It kind of does feel bad, especially when you're trying to react to Nocturne everywhere. As Taeyeon, not sure about that one, buddy, as now Oner is on the chase.
Yeah, this is just falling apart too quickly. And like you mentioned, Oner's down here. His ult's coming back up. Sponge used his.
All right,
maybe he can do something.
Faker definitely way too far up in the lane here. Going to land a gold card onto the Pantheon. But eventually has to flash the wall, and Scout says, okay, I'll just follow Flash and get the kill. So that's a nice little pick on the Faker.
Yeah, that's something they sorely needed in this game. But you can see the gold lead is only Kingan's for NONGSHIM right now. He got the flash out of Dorm with that play from Sponge, but that's the weak side for T1. Just like game one, is the Ambessa. They don't care too much. You see the commitment here to punish Scout, who was way up in the lane. It's a huge shutdown going over. And then Faker here gets punished. Sponge uses the speed up here, close the gap. And Faker actually plays this really well, fights back, gets into the Raptor pit, forces Scout to flash, but Scout doesn't miss. So that's a lot of money back into Scout's pocket. We'll see if they can win a mid-game team fight. I mean, their 2-dragon lead, with it being Ocean Soul, doesn't feel that great. It's only a 2,000 gold lead here for T1, but this composition is so oppressive with a lead like the one they have. And the Kog'Maw being the biggest lead means they have such great late-game insurance.
Yeah, and I feel like, you know, they don't have a great answer for the Kog'Maw. If they had Vi, I feel like you would have a very reliable way to 100% get onto the Kog'Maw. With Pantheon, you know, he's also good at acquiring targets and trying to set up the Rumble, but especially into the Lulu, not quite the same as Vi. So now, gonna throw out a bunch of stuff into Paze, and Paze just gets Wild Growth and peeled for by the Lulu. A Sponge is taking a huge amount of damage. As now Faker makes his way in with the gold card, and now Doran in the back line. Nobody able to stop him as they used everything for everybody else. Equalizer comes down. A lot of damage here from the Aurora. The Faker stands his ground, throws a card in, and it's disaster for NONGSHIM as T1 are just decimating them here in the top river. It's an ace for T1.
And it's the same story every time. NONGSHIM just don't have the members. They don't have enough. Like, look at the minimap here. Scout TP's into the mid lane, but he isn't here yet. They go on to Paze, Wild Growth's available, Shield's available, and then they use the Renata ultimate in such a bizarre way. And then it's like, okay, now Faker's here, and it's a late TP from King, and look how long it takes him to get here. Meanwhile, Doran's just like, I'm going in. I'm going to turn them. I'm the blender. I'm going to turn them into very small pieces of NONGSHIM. The Ramyan is getting cut very thin. And Kingan is at least able to trade one back here, but it's a disaster. Keria gets picked, so that's something.
Not sure what happened there. Looks like he put down a ward in the banana brush and died. So warding definitely the death of many a support.
Especially a squishy Lulu.
Yeah. Gotta be careful, gotta go with Oner, I think, for most of these warding journeys. That does mean that NONGSHIM kind of just get a free Ocean Soul points.
Do we care about that more than Herald, though, at this point, is the real question, because that's going to be what goes over to T1, as you can see in the pit. Just gets caught warding in the banana brush like you already called out, but we can see it how it eventuated. Trying to dive Faker here, I think, should be fairly simple. However, they don't stop his empowered recall! Oh, boy.
Wow. I mean, we have seen some things already in this series, but that was one of them. As now, going to take down the Nocturne, says they don't need the TF. The Sponge has a lot of low members here that he could potentially execute, but it looks like only Keria is going to be the one they get for now, as Oner also gets away.
Target selection a little bit all over the place there. I think Oner is just dead. Can he get the... Oh, he's going to get away with it. No way.
I mean, they have to know he's in that bush. There's only...
It couldn't be anywhere else where he was, but...
Well, I guess he was far enough away.
Okay, well... I'm trying to find angles here for the Noodle Boys. I'm really trying desperately, but perhaps the Noodles are stretched too thin in this one. The target selection on that scrap in the mid lane was a little bit bizarre as well. Kingan decided to ult the wave while the team was clearly trying to come over and bail the situation out. If he added just a little bit of extra equalizer damage in those final moments, maybe it could have been something for it. I understand the decision to go for the minion wave because that's your normal reaction. We didn't have full information at the moment how many T1 members are going to come over. So probably just thought, okay, it's doomed, but Either way, I mean, this Kog'Maw is really big. And the Rumble less big than he was earlier on in the game. And just T1 taking control early with this comp. Like I was saying, felt like this game was going to be one-sided no matter what, right? Like if NONGSHIM shut this comp down early, then it couldn't do a whole lot, but they didn't. T1 took a huge lead. And ever since, as the gold graph indicates, there have been a few dips with some people getting picked, but I mean, the whole map is about to get painted blue. In terms of
that's not.
Yeah, no, yeah, I knew it was coming.
And both of these teams have red colors.
Yeah, no,
Yeah. They just had that slogan over there at the home ground, paint the ground red.
Yeah, all right. FaZe has red buff.
Red buff!
Red buff! Any knowers?
Playmates was great. I hope we can do another one.
I hope so.
Guess what T1 are going to do?
Yeah, they're going to kill the NONGSHIM members, starting with Kingen.
They kind of just ults directly in the face of Kingen, under the turret, into a TP, so not ideal there. As now Sponge getting on in, but the Paranoia are going to be utilized to try to get them out. And they do get away. Meanwhile, FaZe is in mid lane, just playing PvE.
It's so funny when you're the... okay, maybe a punish here. Maybe a little bit less funny for FaZe now. No, I think it'll be fine, actually. But it's so funny when you're the AD carry, when your comp is so global. You're like, well, I can't join, so I guess I'll just stay here. And actually,
FaZe.
it's not fine.
Very dead. As Faker came in, he's like, hey, I'm helping. Meanwhile, Lehens gets thrown in, and he gets slowed up, takes a huge amount of damage. And so they're just going to have to back away after that FaZe pick.
FaZe has been known to push very deep, even back as far as his rookie year on Genji, when he has the opportunity to. But like I was alluding to, he's like, well, I can't go for the dive, so I'll push. And there's still some tools left available to punish him here. As you can see, Kingen showing up. And I think he thought that with this TP for Faker coming through that he could get bailed out and stand his ground, but just too much NONGSHIM and too little T1. So it ends up being a nice pick here for NONGSHIM, but again, not enough necessarily just yet to get them back into the game, but stack a few more of those up, maybe the path could start. It's just that even though you kill him, he's 4,000 gold ahead, starting to itemize defensively now as well, because he knows that he's already got the damage he needs, and he's got a Nocturne and a TF. Yeah, Keria is
just laughing. And it can be very difficult for NONGSHIM's comp when the other side begins to itemize defensively. As you were saying, you know, they very much rely on the burst damage, taking one person out as quickly as possible, but already FaZe was hard to kill when the Lulu was there, and now he's going to have a defensive item. Probably the Terminus is now looking to go on in as there's the public execution straight onto Sponge, a big Aurora ult, but he's kind of alone, takes a lot of damage. Equalizer on top, though, is going to burn a lot of T1 members, and NONGSHIM down 2 members, still pushing forward, but they just get kited out, and they're not able to actually take anyone out from the side of T1. The Ocean Drake alive, and so T1 definitely want to fight for that one.
Doran.
TP back in from Doran.
And he's going to come up here. It looks like they're not going to get any kills from this, but it will be able to secure them space on Dragon. And with Oner there, I think they should get it. Annoying, but not a kill. There's a turret, however. And the Dragon. And a stopped back.
Yeah. Doesn't have his ult. Just going to have to jump into this one. Kingen kind of ready for it, but at the end of the day, he doesn't have flash. Little Slow comes in for the harpoon, and he actually does get away.
And Pantheon is going to ult to
say hello.
Dissuade Doran from doing anything else.
I think he was just saying hello.
Yeah, maybe you're
actually,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a great ult from Doran. Watch this. He both escapes from the aggression on the right side, but also hits the prio target on the left side. Like, that is exactly how you want to play Ambessa when you're on the edge of a fight like this. Faker gets the snipe onto Scout, who is chasing aggressively, and the Equalizer does a lot of damage, but they're so far behind that it's just not lethal damage. And, you know, Lehens' ultimate there was just reaching for straws at this point, trying to also help them back away from the Kog'Maw. All right, well, I mean, let's go again, I suppose. NONGSHIM are trying to find an angle.
Yeah, they get a bit on a pace here as everything is thrown into pace, and they actually do get the kill, but now on top of so much damage, including the Kog'Maw passive, Lehens and Taeun gonna have to run away from this one. Doran just going on in. They send this 4v5 like it's no problem. The bailout is there, but it does not proc as Doran picks up the kill onto Kalista. And now it's 4v4.
That's a big win to kill Paze there. I mean, it's really tough to kill this guy, as you guys saw, but it's just not enough, and Doran just shows up and says, all right, well, we'll get one back. But watch this, like, committing the ultimate onto him, hits the Q there, rather the weirding there, gets the spear, everything goes onto it. And then his passive gets massive value anyways, which is quite rare in pro play. And when they were playing a dive pop, sometimes that's just how it works. And then Doran comes in here. If they get a bailout here, they were so close to it, would have felt better for NONGSHIM because maybe they could actually try to push a turret, but they're unsuccessful at getting it, and T1 remain with that 7,000 gold lead. Rapid fire cannon, one of the biggest spikes for TF.
Yeah.
So now he can more aggressively gold card.
And it really does feel like, you know, a couple of times Paze got picked. I think if you only look at those, you can say, hey, like NONGSHIM, they actually have some good angles, but this was the last one especially. Paze didn't have flash, and they used literally everything to try to get him down. So, and T1 weren't even all there. So there's a lot of punish that can come through even if you do go all in for the Kog'Maw.
And usually it's going to be T1 from here on out being the ones who pull the trigger, as they have been really for a lot of this mid-game, because they have the Nocturne TF plus the Lulu combo. So they had an angle there. They had an opportunity. They got Paze, but it didn't come without a cost. And how many more of those opportunities are you going to get is the real question. As Paze could stand this far forward and just know he's completely safe as he clears this wave. And T1 looking to clear some Baron vision here and trying to just take away all of anything that's left here on the map for NONGSHIM in their jungle.
Yeah, definitely a good call, as it does appear as well in the side lane, as that blast cone was pretty nice. I believe Lehens hit that one to deny Paze any action. And Faker just going to TP back to the top lane.
Faker just going to grab this turret. Does not actually end up setting up for a kill, but it was still decent value. Now they know all vision is cleared. They have 100% confirmation of that. They've checked everything. The only thing that's left is the ward on the pit, which was just replaced by Sponge to clear this one. So actually no vision there. That's the one part T1 didn't know about. As that Wit's End is now finally done here for Paze. Defensive itemization is going to help him into the burst damage of Scout, which has been some of the best follow-up. Also great into double AP with the Rumble here. This kind of feels like everything is going exactly the way T1 wants. They're making all the right decisions. And even Paze's death ended up being a good thing for T1. They turned it into so much more map control. So now said Baron is going to be started. Oner will kill this replaced ward for Sponge, who's now wardless here. And they decide to back off with this Kog'Maw sitting on 4 items. And this is just what they did in game 1, although in game 1 it was a much more dire situation where they really need to back off here. They're just not going to flip the game. Not going to give any opportunity to NONGSHIM. Not going to give this soul as well. They want to fight for that now.
Yeah, no reason to give free stuff when you're this far ahead and your Kog'Maw is super fed. A lot of damage does come in from Scout already, but there's the paranoia as Oner, once that kill, goes past the entirety of NONGSHIM's team to try to get it. It's now Faker going to be in a bit of trouble, but Doran pulls the trigger. He gets in the back line. They cannot peel against this Ambessa. Flashes come through. The bailout is there, and actually Taeun does a decent job of kiting it out, but he can't quite get the bailout as Doran does go down. The Paze is untouched as he flashes into the back line, takes out Kingin. As Sponge kind of hanging out in the back himself, will just die to Oner.
Does save Oner's life, and it is going to be T1 now looking to take this dragon. Second of the game for them. Definitely a much closer fight than I thought we were ever going to get for the rest of this game. The bailout value was almost immaculate, but they're just so far behind. And starts off here with Scout looking for the initial catch onto Paze, but that Wit's End is paying its value in dividends. And then the follow-up here onto the Aurora means that he has to flash away. He's now out of this fight. Kingin shows up. He's got that shield, but he has to kite back here. And this equalizer value is actually pretty insane, as it was a quick little Fates call to buy space for Taeun. There's some incredible kiting here. Goes forward to try to get the bailout. Oner realizes this, gets out of range so the bailout doesn't go off here. And then they try to front to back this. They are able to survive. Like, if they end up losing Lehens and Scout here, they lose the game instantly, but it does not stop T1 from grabbing Dragon and continuing to hold on to this massive lead. It's moved up to 9,000 now, and once again, Baron is the port of call, and they have so much control over this right now. They also have a Twisted Fate to spot everybody out.
No Pantheon ult as well. Sponge used it at the end of the last fight. So it's just going to be a natural engage from them. The paranoia does come down, though, and Sponge cannot get into the pit. That's Baron, and now the engage comes in. The turn is there as Oner accesses that backline. They try to get on top of Pace, but they can't even take him out, as it's a clean ace here for the side of T1, and that'll be the 2-0 for them tonight.
The T1 win streak continues, moving it up to 5 here at the end of round 1. So put them at 6 wins, knocking on the door of top 2. Still a few wins behind, but pushing themselves right now solidly into 3rd place. There's some ups and downs at the beginning of the season. NONGSHIM, they had a tough 3 matches in a row. And unfortunately, they were not able to pass the test. Strength of schedule coming up big against them at the end of the round, and they'll finish